All right, next up we've got an Amazon one. I'm kind of excited about this one if it's what I think it is. Let's see here. Oh, not as exciting, but this is a 10-port USB fast charger, and in fact, I've got one over here already. I bought this one in 2015. I guess I don't really need to open it up considering I have one sitting literally right next to me. The only thing with these is the cords start to fall out over time. I'm telling you, man, you want to be a popular person in the airport, travel with one of these bad boys and plug it in and let the entire world charge. I got this for over at Studio B because I found that more and more things were plugging in to USB, and rather than taking up a whole bunch of outlets, I decided to add another one of these things. So over there at Studio B, I have my charging for my phone that goes up there. I have I use USB for the RGB to HDMI, which does all my video output. I use power for my video capture and all kinds of other stuff. So I thought it would be nice to have another one of these things over there to just, instead of plugging in a whole bunch of individual USB bricks, to just be able to plug them all in one place and kind of try to neaten it up. That place is an absolute cable nightmare. So I don't really understand why when you buy the normal USB hubs, they all come long and skinny, but these things are always wider. I'd really prefer this be the long and skinny design so I can keep it closer to the wall. But either way, I have two of these things. I think I bought the first one in 2013, 2014. I bought another one in 2015, 2022. I'm buying my third one. That's how much I love these things. And next up, another Amazon thing. Let's get this out. Okay, that's smaller than I was expecting. We'll go, I'm excited about this one, so I'm gonna go with this one first. This is another one, and you've seen me get a bunch of these. This is a USB hub, should be powered. USB 3 powered hub. I think these things are actually perfect for when you program some of the weird microcontrollers that require you to plug in the thing at an exact time. You can keep it plugged in and just turn the power on to the port whenever you're ready. But why I actually want this is, again, for over there at Studio B. I've got a computer over there. It's nothing super powerful, but what my plan is I'm going to run this USB 3 hub from that computer down to Studio B, and that will allow me to do video capture, HDMI capture, maybe even output my oscilloscope onto the screen and things like that, so I can capture that. So I wanted a USB 3 hub for over there. Not too exciting, but this is the one I've been going with. I was buying the pluggable ones, and they're fantastic, but they're about $10 more, and it's kind of hard to justify. I will say the one thing I really prefer on the pluggable is that this cable is removable, and on these, there's a bunch of clones, it's not removable, and that's a little bit stinks because you can get away with a longer cable on the removable ones, but I didn't think it was worth paying $10 for that feature, so I got a more traditional one, which will be fine for what I'm doing. And the thing that I'm really excited about, and I hope this works well, I'm going to probably do a video separately about this, but I got this little timer doohickey for my soldering station. And, you know, I've had a couple times. My office, if you haven't seen the whole tour, I have a bunch of stations around here, and I do different things in different stations. And so it's not uncommon for me to solder in one place and then come over here and assemble everything. And so it's really easy to just leave the soldering iron on for an hour or two without noticing. And I wouldn't want to leave it on all night. So the deal with this is you push a button and it will turn the thing on for as long as you want it to. So if you need to solder for 15 minutes, you turn it on for 15 minutes. You need an hour, you got an hour. But either way, there's no option here where you're just going to leave it on all night unless you want to. So, yeah, so I think this is going to be a really cool thing for that, but I'm going to give it a thorough test. All right, let's go to the old school mailbag stuff and get some stuff that seems like it's come from China. Now, this is one of those multi-pack things, so I expect my address to be all over the place. So I'm going to kind of open this and then slide it off screen so we can get the packages going in the right direction. This one alone has 6 packages, and I'm probably going to open this stuff up fairly quickly because I think it's all for a similar build. So yeah, oh no, this is different. So we've got a bunch of dip switches. Now I've got some cards that I'm going to be making that are going to require some 8-position dip switches, and I think I actually need 2 of these 8-position dip switches per card, which is why I got 20 of them to start with, because I'm going to be building 10 cards. So these are 8-position dip switches, dual inline package switches. And so, yeah, they'll just go right in almost like a chip would, and you can connect or disconnect things at will. And I think, let's see here. Yeah, so this one right here has a 12-position dip switch on there, just like that. So you can set your different settings, like your IRQs and where the stuff is going to sit in your memory and all that kind of stuff. So, got a bunch of dip switches. On to the next one. Okay, so I decided to open up the other packages all in bulk so we could take a look at them. First things first, we've got, I think it's 200 red LEDs, 5mm LEDs. And the reason why I got these is I do like the classic ones that just show you that they're red off the bat. And I actually ran out of red LEDs, not completely, but I ran out of at least matching ones. I've got all kinds of stuff from the Arduino kits, but when you're building things together, you want them to kind of look the same. You don't want them to have different brightnesses and different shades of red and stuff like that. So I got a couple hundred red LEDs. I used a bunch of them on those Atari joystick testers, which is kind of a fun project, and I felt like it was time to replenish. We also got a couple of different capacitors. I think these might actually be tantalum capacitors, and then these are just 10-volt electrolytic 100 nanofarads, and they are for, I think, my XT IDE board that I'm making, so I've got these ready to go for that. Next up, I also I couldn't believe it. As many headers as I have, and I basically ran out of straight male headers. And so I decided that while I was in there, I was going to buy 4 sets, I think, of 20 of these colored ones. And, I can use them anywhere. But I like the ability to tell that, hey, this red is for the VCC and the black is ground or green is ground and, stuff like that. And if not, if it doesn't matter, I'll just use any color on there. But I got a whole bunch of these colored headers on here to give me some options just to differentiate, especially because I'm going to be building more of those game show buzzer things. And if you saw in my prototype, I used the different color headers on that. And then these look like another thing I've gotten a bunch of on the channel, and I don't really want to take all of them out of the package because they're stuck together. Okay, so these are something that I've gotten a bunch of on the channel. These are Atmel AT28C64B, which would make them 8 kilobyte EEPROM, 64 kilobits, and these are something that I use all the time. They're perfect for using for BIOS on old computers and for things. I'm guessing this is going to be that same size chip. Yeah, this is a 64B on this one. This card up here, I'll bet uses a 64B. That's a 64B. So this chip is all over the place. 8 kilobytes is plenty for most BIOS type applications. And so I got, this looks like 20 more of those because, again, I've been burning through them. Sometimes I use the one with the windows where you have to clear them out by putting them under UV light. I do have an eraser for those, but a lot of times I just prefer to use these, which I can erase right inside of my EEPROM programmer. So we'll step away from electronics for a minute to go to something that's definitely not electronic. This is the Addrator from West Germany, and I got it from a yard sale for, I think it was actually 50 cents. And this is the world's finest pocket adding machine, standard model with plastic case. And they say that it's precision made with durable Düsseldorf steel, used by 5 million people from 51 foreign governments and armed forces and IRS and all that kind of stuff. Great for students and businessmen and 1,001 other uses. And it was made and distributed in my home state of New Jersey, and they have a Canadian office in Toronto, but it is imported from West Germany. So what it is sort of like a pocket calculator. So you clear it by pulling this little thing up, and then let's say that we want to do something like add 55 plus 55. So we're going to come down here and we're going to take the thing and put it in the 5, and you'll see we get a 5 down here. We're going to take this thing, put it in the 5, and you see we get a 5 there. And now we want to add 55 to that. So we're going to pull this down at 5, and we're going to pull this down at 5, and you'll see that now it tells me that we need to go up. So what you do is you go like this around the little corner there, and you go whoop, and it tells you that that is 110. And so it's very, very weird. But, you know, and then you can add 11 to that. So we can come here 11 to that, and you got 121. And there's ways to do addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division with this thing. I think multiplication, you just sort of do a bunch of addition, but it's just a very weird little device, and you clear it by pulling this back out. And apparently millions of people used to use these things. They say it's multiple times faster than a slide rule. So very, very interesting little device, was 50 cents. I just thought this would be kind of a good time to show it. And the last package of the day is another MultiOne. So let's get this stuff out and we'll see what we got. Okay, this time we got 4 packages, so I think I'll go ahead and open them up one at a time. And okay, we've got, oh yes, it's funny, great packaging. Are they all mixed together? They are, that's funny. So I ordered multiple sets of these Rando 3, 4, 8. I think I ordered 3 sets of maybe 5 different styles, so there should be about 3 of each of these. These are various DIN connectors, and they are not the highest quality, and I knew they weren't the highest quality when I got them. A lot of the old computers use these things for either power or AV or keyboards or things like that, and you know, a lot of times when you get an old computer, that stuff has gone missing. So these things are going to absolutely suck to solder. But I thought it would be interesting to at least keep some of these on hand in the event that I need to make a custom cable for something. Again, I don't think it's going to be a fun job to make these custom cables, but if I've got a computer that doesn't have an AV cable and I can't find one, or I need to make a custom power cable, I can do that. One of the things that's kind of interesting is a lot of these old computers run off of 5 volts, but the specs on the power supply tend to go high. So in other words, a lot of the old Atari 8-bit computers, they only ran off 5 volts, but they had these giant power bricks, and when the power bricks would get old, the power would start to creep up as the regulation got out of spec. And so it's not uncommon for the power supply for some of the 8-bit Atari computers and some of the other ones like it to actually kill the computer itself. And so you know, what else is 5 volts? USB. So you can actually make a USB to DIN connector and make your own power thing for it, and just use a standard power brick for it. So I got a bunch of these connectors to have on hand, so I don't have to special order them every single time I need one. All right, next up, we've got another AliExpress doohickey, and we have some resistor networks. These are very weird things, and they're kind of annoying to work with. These are, I think, they're 10, so maybe they're 11 pins. But what they would do a lot of times for termination and for preventing signals from reflecting back, a lot of old hardware use these resistor networks. I think I used them on the RGB to HDMI. And so instead of putting 10 resistors in, they'll have, usually it would be 1 ground and 9 resistors that are all kind of daisy chained together. Sometimes the values are mixed up, sometimes they're not, but these are the ones that I needed for a project I have upcoming, and they're not cheap, and they're not easy to come by the exact one you want. And so anyway, I got a bunch of them, enough to do my next project. And this one, more DIN connectors. These, I won't spend a lot of time on these. These are, I believe, 5-pin DINs. They're all 5-pin, and they're all metal. These were just a higher quality connector than the other ones. I use 5-pin a lot. You can see these have like a rubber strain relief instead of the cheap plastic. So we've got, I mean, again, we're not talking crazy high quality, but definitely higher quality than this. So for some of my keyboard projects and things like that, I decided that I would get some metal higher quality connectors to throw in the bundle. All right, and last but not least, we've got a box that was in a bag with a bunch of other bags. It does not say anything on it. It's got a bunch of numbers and LPs and things like that. So, well, I guess depending on, oh no. depending on what it is packaged very well. I guess it's not packaged very well. I ordered a bunch of ICs, and I tried to get them from the same supplier, and that actually did work because they weren't supposed to get here until September 15th. And these got here something like July 20th. So that's cool, like over a month early. But as you can see, they were all just kind of thrown in these bags. So these are all the chips to build up a project I have coming up, that XT IDE thing. And these aren't even just anti-static bags. They just literally threw them in here, which is fantastic. Now I do have a chip tester, and you better believe that I'm going to sit there and test every one of these things before I solder it in, because I'm not spending the money to socket every single one of these chips. So these are a combination of logic chips. So we've got a 74, 573, and just all kinds of random ones. And I got enough to build up 10 of these cards. That's one of the things about the PCB Way sponsorship stuff. I absolutely love them, but a lot of these cards, if I had to go out there and build these chips, buy these chips one at a time, it just wouldn't be worth it. The card would cost so much. So I wind up building these cards in quantities of 10 because it just really offsets the cost. It's one of those things where, like, I could build one card for $50 or 10 cards for $100. So even if I don't build them all right away, I tend to order the parts to do 10 of them unless the card's just crazy expensive. So that is my mailbag. It feels like old times with more stuff from China coming in and all that kind of stuff. I appreciate you guys watching. I've got the links in the description to all this stuff. A lot of you guys have asked. I don't tend to put the AliExpress links in there because they die so often. So, you know, I do links and then I wind up having to answer a bunch of questions about where the link went. The Amazon ones tend to not die as fast, so I use Amazon links more. Banggood links, I try to use those whenever possible, but the AliExpress and eBay ones are just awful, so I don't tend to use them a lot. But I will put the links in there, and I do have worldwide links that work anywhere, so even if you are not in America, it'll at least send you to the right product so you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, I appreciate you guys watching, and have a great day.